You know that feeling when you take a bite of food and it's just perfect? Every single flavor is singing, everything just pops. We've all been there. Well, today we're going to pull back the curtain on the tiny, crystalline superhero that makes it all happen. We're getting into the secret life of salt.
It seems almost too simple, doesn't it? A little pinch of salt, it's in every kitchen on the planet, but what is it actually doing in there? I mean, how does this one little thing create such a massive change in our food?
Because here's the secret. Salt isn't just adding a salty taste. No way. It's a chemical powerhouse that is fundamentally rearranging how your food tastes, how it feels, and even how long it lasts. This is pure science, and it's hiding in plain sight, right in your salt shaker.
All right, so to really get what salt can do, we have to understand what it is. Let's get to know our hero's secret identity on a molecular level. Okay, deep down, all salt is sodium chloride, NaCl. You've got a sodium ion and a chloride ion, and they're bonded together. It's this super simple, really elegant structure that gives salt all of its incredible powers. This is the compound that's about to go to work on our food, and trust me, the effects are amazing. Let's start with salt's most famous gig, flavor. But here's the thing, it's not just another actor on the stage, it's the director. Salt isn't just adding its own taste, it is actively telling all the other tastes in the dish how to behave. And you can see its genius right here. On one hand, salt actively shuts down bitterness. See, our brains are kind of hardwired to think bitterness might be poison. Salt literally runs interference and blocks those bitter compounds from hitting our taste buds so hard. But at the same time, it turns up the volume on sweetness and those savory umami flavors, making them shine. So you see, salt isn't just one note. It creates harmony and balance across the entire plate. But salt's job doesn't stop with taste. Oh, no. It is also a master of texture. You know that perfectly juicy steak or that super tender piece of chicken? Yep, you can thank salt for that. It's literally re-engineering the food's structure, one protein at a time. Let's see how it pulls that off. This whole process is just fascinating to watch. So you sprinkle salt on meat, and at first you see a little moisture pop up on the surface. That's step one. But then, and this is where the magic happens, that moisture dissolves the salt, and it creates this really concentrated natural brine. And that brine gets sucked right back into the meat. It goes in there and starts breaking down and unwinding those tough muscle proteins, which lets them hold on to way more moisture when you cook them. The result? Unbelievably tender and juicy food. It's incredible. Okay, salt's third superpower is maybe its oldest and most important one. For literally centuries, way before refrigerators, salt was how we preserved food. It has this amazing ability to basically hit the pause button on spoilage. The science behind this is pretty simple. It's all about water. Salt is like a magnet for water molecules. Through a process you might remember from science class called osmosis, it literally pulls moisture out of food cells. And even more importantly, it pulls the water out of any nasty bacteria cells hanging around. And without water, those bacteria just can't survive. They can't grow, they can't multiply. This is the basic idea behind everything from cured prosciutto to pickles to salted cod. All right, so we've seen how salt is a flavor boss, a texture engineer, and a master preserver. But the big question is, how do we take all this cool science and actually put it to work? Let's get practical and bring this into your kitchen. First off, not all salt is created equal, and it mostly comes down to the size and shape of the crystals. That fine table salt dissolves super fast, which is great for baking when you want it to disappear. Kosher salt with its big, flaky crystals is awesome for seasoning meat because it's easy to grab and it spreads out nicely. And all those beautiful sea salts and pink salts, their crunchy texture and mild flavors make them perfect for finishing a dish, that last little sprinkle just before you serve. So let's put it all together. Remember that brining thing we talked about? That's why you want to salt your meat early. Give the salt time to do its protein tenderizing work. Use those flaky finishing salts at the very, very end for that pop of flavor and crunch. And of course, always be mindful of other salty stuff in your dish, like soy sauce or Parmesan cheese. Adjust accordingly. You know, when you really step back and look at everything it does, salt is the ultimate multitasker. It's balancing flavor, engineering texture, and preserving food, all from one simple little mineral. It truly is a food science superhero that's been hiding in our kitchens this whole time. And that really says it all, doesn't it? It's simple, but it is so, so powerful. This one ingredient, sodium chloride, is doing at least 3 completely different, really complex chemical jobs every single time you cook with it. It's easily one of the most powerful tools you have.
So the next time you reach for that salt shaker, I want you to pause for a second. Don't just think, I'm adding saltiness. Think about the chemistry. Are you trying to tenderize that steak? Are you trying to balance the bitterness in those greens? Or are you just looking for that final, perfect, crunchy texture? What job are you going to give your salt today?